July of 2007, the Interreligious Peace Sports Festival was hosted at Sun Moon University in Asan, South Korea. Athletes, volunteers, and performing arts groups gathered from 60 nations to build unity through sports, culture, and religious exchange. One issue faced by all nations represented is the spread of AIDS.
In the tourist belt, there is a belt of tourists who come. In those areas and those places, these are much more serious than in the general population in Sri Lanka. Still, it is a problem, and especially in the main city schools, people have to be really educated. I think it's in the range of 2,000 or 5,000 identified cases. And the government suspect maybe 14,000 are infected but not come out or full-blown, and they have not recognized yet.
In certain towns it is increasing, and that is, I think, because basically in Indonesia people don't, at least in the villages or in the small towns, they don't want to talk about that. There are a lot of drug abusers who have been infected, you see, and that is, and also prisoners, you see. I'm very sad about that, you see, because I think it is the circumstances that that made them become victims.
Many people in Europe see HIV or AIDS doesn't seem such a scary thing as if you go to Africa or Asia or maybe East Europe. East Europe may be more an issue. Many governments and many different NGOs have been trying to stop this virus with condoms or with education of how to use them or with all kind of prescriptions. But most of the times the numbers never changed, and actually even in most of the nations still the number of victims from HIV and AIDS are increasing. And through that, we can see, if we clearly analyze that abstinence from marriage and purity is the only way to guarantee not having any problems with AIDS and HIV.
The Washington AIDS International Teens, WAIT, is a performing arts team that teaches HIV prevention. A project of the Washington AIDS International Foundation, WAIT advocates abstinence and lifetime partnership as the best practices for stopping this epidemic. WAIT team members attended the Interreligious Peace Sports Festival to support the educational programs for the athletes, beginning with the orientations.
We teach about HIV/AIDS through the performing arts. So we have a very innovative way of changing the world, because we know that AIDS affects every nation, right? Every nation has to deal with this.
The first time I met WAIT team was 3 years ago, the IPSF 2004. And of course, first thing you see is nice performances and singing and dancing, which attracts you a lot, and you ask yourself a lot, well, what's behind that, and why young people are putting so much effort into this kind of performances. The message which is behind WAIT, which is expressing the fact to wait for marriage before having relationships.
Jill was in love, so Jack and Jill decided to get you close.
Let's watch T-cell fight HIV whiplash. 1, 2. Oh, we got a winner! Yeah, that's the way to go, T-cell.
Your body is under attack by HIV whiplash and is even getting up close. No, said Jill.
A day-long training in HIV prevention education allowed athletes to learn how to start a WAIT team in their home countries.
No, okay? And a syndrome means it's not one disease. It's actually many different diseases that you receive because your immune system is so lacking, so poor.
Wait participated in the nightly cultural events, working closely with the diverse cultural groups who shared their talents each evening.
Wait, missing some action? Oh, looks like we found an antibody that works. So thank you for listening to our little skit. If you have come in contact with HIV in any possible way, it's very important that you get tested. And if you're abstinent, congratulations. You're doing the very best thing to protect yourself and others from receiving HIV. Thank you.
And everyone take a step forward. You take a step forward.
In a celebration of the multicultural origins of the participants, the trainees joined together to integrate their own cultural dances into a dance for peace to Sting song Desert Rose. The dance expressed the value of every human being and the common desire for a peace that will allow us to share the riches of our diverse cultures.
The dancing, what we want to say is finally we be the peace, right? So I think it's great that to learn about peace by really doing it. Not just saying it, but really do.
I hope one of these days your wait team can come and you reach the young people in the more appealing way, because normally the lectures are facts and figures and sometimes boring for especially young kids who want to listen to a long lecture.
I think it can work everywhere, just maybe it needs to be adapted in each nation. For the moment, purity abstinence is not at all emphasized by anybody in Europe, so it's a good reason to start doing it as well. How much time would take to, become bigger in Europe? I think we have to try, then we can see.
Healing humanity involves eliminating disease, building prosperity, and supporting constructive solutions. Youth using their talents to implement these goals are creating a real-world cultural revolution.